Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Hello. I am so very happy and blessed to be able to come live to you today. I have been asked to do this self care video for some time, and well, actually, not that long ago, but I just wanted to make sure that I did right by that request and came to you today to talk to you about self care. I don't want to talk to you just about self care. I want to talk to you about what I would title positive self care. Self care has so many different elements, it looks like any number of things. And I want to make sure we as women are clear on what the reality of self care is, and how we can make it just not be something that looks good on the outside, but I want to touch something that feels good on the inside of ourselves. So there's so many different levels, arenas, so many different examples of self-care. There are some things that look good as self-care tactics, but they actually don't feel good as self-care tactics, meaning that these things don't touch us at our essence. They don't change who we are, at our innermost being. And so I want to make sure that we are true to self first and foremost, and understand that the goal is to please self, not to please people, not to do what other people are doing, also not to just do things just to say we did them, but do things that are really changing us from the inside out, really. And so I think when we typically are having discussions around self-care, we are thinking that it is an external thing. And I can see where that comes from. I can agree to an extent, but at the same time, we need to understand that we do external things so that it changes our inner man. And that's what I want to talk about today regarding self-care. So I'm just sending out a few messages because I have some people that if I don't send them notifications of these messages, they will have my behind, okay? And my behind will not have been cared for. Do you understand what I mean? So I am sending this, and then we'll go ahead and get started in our discussion. So as I am talking to you about self-care, I want you to consider your self-care questions, even your self-care solutions or suggestions. And if you want to share those, please share them in the comments on this video, under this video. And you can kind of type in while you're watching the video. It won't stop your being able to look at the feed, or you can come back and review the video later and then add your questions, comments, or suggestions. So I'm going to get started by talking about myself, because I always talk about myself, and I think you all get a kick out of when I talk about myself. First and foremost, my godmother and mother in church today, they asked me why I was so made up. And I said, because a gentleman told me last night that I was fine. And because he told me last night that I was fine, today I added some bars on that fineness. I put that fine on Wi-Fi. That fine is not a 3G fine. This fine today is 4G. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I wanted to make sure that I, put some respect on it. But she also, my mother at some point she said, your collar is up. And I said, Ma, I'm cool. And my godmother could read my lips, and so she kind of laughed. I'm cool, Ma, okay? And I actually did it on purpose, but because most of me is a nerd and it's not cool, then I ended up putting it back down. And I had this up on purpose because I wanted to just highlight for you the fact that self-care looks like whatever you want to make it be. It feels like sometimes what you want it to feel like. And for each of us, that's different. So some of us will walk around with a pop collar, right? And that's cool. You put this little part down, right? Some of us, you put that collar down and that fits you. And so I did that example because I want you to know that it's unique. It's whatever each woman needs it to be for her. And for me, sometimes, most times, it's a red lip. And look, I got me some little examples, right? I got some examples here. And so this is my MAC lipstick. This is actually the first MAC lipstick that I owned because nobody takes care of me and gets me more than one. So I only have one. Okay, and this is Ruby Woo. Okay, if you can see that, it's Ruby Woo. That's not gonna focus, but this is Ruby Woo, and it is a great red lip. Okay, people always compliment me on my red lip. It is a matte lipstick, and it's my first matte and MAC lipstick. And that is an element of self-care I want to discuss. Self-care looks like a number of different things. One of the first things I often talk about when I am speaking about self-care is just a woman's appearance. Okay, we have to take time with ourselves, time for ourselves. We have to spend time on making sure that externally we look good, internally we should then feel good. I see a lot of women do, and I'm going to make this comparison. First of all, let me tell you what I mean again by the positive aspects of self-care. Positive self-care for me is going to be real self-care versus implied self-care. Okay, going to get a pedicure or a manicure or a fill-in, or I don't know all the other names for it, but all that different stuff, right? Sometimes that is just implied self-care. I go get my nails done. I go get my bundles. I get all this stuff done. But that's stuff that it impacts us outside. And sometimes if we don't let it penetrate, okay, then it doesn't change anything about the inside. Inside we can still have low self-esteem. Inside we can still be depressed. Inside we can still not love ourselves. Inside we can, just be doing all types of things to ourselves. And so no matter how much we fix ourselves up on the outside, inside, if we're not getting the impact that we need, then it's just implied self-care. Okay, so I got my recurring appointment, I get my eyebrows, I get my lashes, I get my minks, I get all this type of stuff, I get my hair done, I get my color in. Right now even I get a touch up on my color, and all of that stuff is just implied self-care if it does not make you feel good about yourself. Okay, so I want to say that first and foremost, and then I want to talk about the aspects of self-care that mean that if we don't take time during this to I guess I don't want to say reflect, but yes, there should be some time for reflection, just to make sure that you're doing a self-assessment to be sure that when you are taking care of yourself, that you are spending some wholesome soul time with you. Okay, if not, then you're kind of just there, you're just sitting in the chair. It doesn't make any impact, it doesn't make any waves with you. People may say, oh, you're fine, she looks good, but if you don't feel that way, then what difference does it make? Okay, so going back to my makeup. Okay, so someone bought me some makeup and they need to buy me some more makeup. You can buy yourself some makeup. It doesn't have to be MAC, of course, but here are some elements of self-care. Makeup. Okay, makeup means that it's not just about appearances. It's about how does that impact the way that you feel about yourself. Many of us have low self-esteem and we don't do anything about that. We think that low self-esteem is like mental illness and I'm depressed, and so I just have to feel this way because that's just the way the cookies crumbled, and I got mental health problems in my family, and I've dealt with some traumas, and I'm not feeling good today, so I'm not, I just got low self-esteem, and there's nothing I can do about it. That is not the truth, okay? And I'm gonna say that again. That's not the truth, okay? So I say that because we don't realize how big a part we play in our own mental health crises, okay? So mental health crises, you can impact that by getting yourself a mental health professional, or you can do what they call self-help. Okay, self-help means what can I do to help myself? It's really easy. Okay, what can I do to help myself? When it comes to low self-esteem, one thing you can do to help yourself is not just putting on makeup, not just covering up what you do not like about yourself, but you can start to have conversations with yourself, understanding that I need to know if I like myself. I need to ask myself questions like, hey, am I really cute? Am I really fine? Like, is it really popping over here? Do these curls being on fleek actually impact my identity, my image, and my self-esteem? And for me, yes. For you, maybe not so much. At the same time, I take care to make sure my curls pop a certain way. And if they don't, that's going to impact my self-esteem. That's going to impact how I feel about me, okay? And here's the deal. One impact on self-esteem may not cause like a long-term depression or a long-term lack of self-esteem. But if I let that one small thing continue, then over the course of time, yes, that will impact my image, my view of myself. It will impact my image drastically, okay? My identity will be impacted drastically if I allow my poppage not to be what I need it to be. And that's personal, okay? So I say that as a small thing, but these are all small things that mean the biggest thing ever, okay? So if a woman doesn't like herself, she doesn't like the way that she looks, it doesn't matter how beautiful she is. If she does not feel that way about herself, then again, The self-care that we do on the outside does not impact how we feel about ourselves on the inside, okay? So makeup, that's just one way to take time with yourself to beautify yourself and feel good about yourself. And so I want to break this definition down. Self-care for me is going to be taking time with yourself, okay? Taking time with yourself, right? And I'll break that down even further. There's 3 elements, okay? There's the taking time, there is the who do you do it with, and then there's also the focus on self, all right? So taking time means I don't need to just be in a chair, okay? That means the hair chair, the pedicure chair, the nail chair, the waxing bed, whatever you're waxing, that's your business. If it's going to help your self-esteem, wax all of it, if you understand what I mean. But it doesn't matter what chair, or service chair, person's chair, even a mental health chair, life coach chair. It doesn't matter if I'm not taking time there, okay? So this means not just getting a pedicure. There's been tons of times I get a pedicure like this. Here I go, right here. And I'm just a typing and I'm just a doing stuff. It's like, am I really enjoying and embracing this time spent in self-care if I am taking care of other things at the same time? And again, going back to the time, who is that time spent with? If I am multitasking while I'm appreciating my self-care, am I really involved, engaged, being impacted by the self-care? So that's what I mean about things that need to penetrate. Do we spend sufficient quality time with ourselves? Okay. So taking time, do it with yourself. So many of us as women, we don't like spending time alone for whatever reason. There could be all types of reasons. That's not what I'm here to discuss. That would be for another video. We don't like spending time with ourselves, which is fine. But a matured woman will spend as much time with herself as possible, because that woman understands that if I don't give enough time to myself, I am pouring from a glass that is half empty versus a glass that is half full, okay? And so the idea is that me always being to myself and by myself may not be a positive thing, but I do need to spend ample amount of time with myself in order to give people the best of myself. And if I don't spend enough quality time with myself, so here's the deal. If I don't appreciate spending time with me, how can I require that other people appreciate spending time with me? Okay. And so that's what I want to talk about, like just that entire thread of thought or conversation, making sure that you as a woman enjoy whatever self-time you spend. Okay. That could be in a car, and that's the truth. So just some examples of self-care. It could just be taking time and peace in your car. I've seen tons of women who, before they get home or before they even leave home, they go in the car and they just sit there for a little bit. Here's the tragedy of that. If you're sitting in your car before you walk in the house and you're still on the phone, you're still texting, you're still doing all types of stuff, then that time that you spent with yourself, there's small gain, okay? So I want you to think about that. When you're spending time and taking time, extra time, you're buying time, whatever it is, whatever element or area of life, make sure that you're doing that with yourself. Because again, it's like, oh, I'm gonna take a few minutes before I get in the house. If you take a few minutes getting in the house, but you're still on the phone with somebody else, did you really gain something from that? All right. So that's what I want to talk about. Okay. Those areas of life where we think we're getting, oh, I'm just getting some me time. Not if you're on your phone with your homegirl. Okay. I'm getting some me time. Not if you're texting, not if you're even scrolling Facebook. We think that if I'm spending mindless time on Facebook, then I'm getting some self-care. Not necessarily, because it's not time that is authentically soul awakening, right? And every time that you spend by yourself does not have to be some soul time, right? But at the end of it all, you just got to think about the gains on the other end. Did I really benefit from a walk if I'm texting the whole time? Did I really benefit from, even running? If my mind is not clear because of it, if I'm running without the goal of clearing my mind, there's a problem. And here's the truth. Like, I run, and I have not run in a long time, so I could be lying in this moment, but guess what? By tomorrow, I will be running. But when I do run, It's a good time to process your thoughts, but at the end of it all, you should not be so consumed in your thoughts that during this run you're just overcome with thoughts. You might as well should have just stayed home. And I'm not taking away from the physical benefit that you got, but mentally, did you get some benefit? Okay, so for women, I want us to prioritize taking time with yourself. Okay, so do it with yourself, by yourself, some alone time, some good solo time. At the end of it all, though, the goal should be being very much self-serving. And as women, it could be, and it sounds so selfish to say, oh, I'm just going to take care of myself. I'm going to look out for myself. I'm going to look out for me. I'm a single woman. It's kind of easy for me to say some of these things, but at the end of it all, I'm a single woman who's very much dependent on by her family, whether that be my immediate family, my extended families, my pretend families I've even purchased and invested in. I have families across the board. So my being single does not take away from the fact that you can and should be single and selfish, but also involved, engaged, married, and selfish too. I say that because the person that you're dating or the person that you're in love with or the person that you're married to will totally appreciate if you take some good substantive time by yourself, because then when you come together with that person, the time spent together will be that much more impactful if you've taken some great time for yourself. Okay, so single women, married women, dating women, you in a confused relationship, women, you are not Facebook official, all those types of women. I'm talking about all of us. Okay, we need to spend some good time that is focused soul self time. Okay, this is women who and this is any area of our life. I was going to try to provide some examples of what is the best time to spend time with yourself. There's no best time all the time. And you'll begin to appreciate the time that you spend with people that much more when you get to have some time for yourself. Most women are overcome by the tragedies of life, by the just the rhythm of life, simply because we don't have enough balance in life. And that balance means there has to be some time, even for a single parent, a single mother, to say, hey, this is my time. When I was younger, my mother would always have us to go to bed at 8:30. I'm talking about we were grown kids going to bed at 8:30. As an adult now, I understand the value of her doing that, because there was portions of our life where she was a single mother, and she had a very involved life, very engaged life. She was very much connected, and if she did not come back to her home and have a peaceful space for herself, could see how that would have upended our entire household. Okay, and so as a child, I probably didn't appreciate it. I probably didn't respect it. Okay, with a K on it. But now, as an adult, even a single woman, I see right now, like, there is no way I could have done what she did at her age doing it. She was a young woman doing these things, and she had a lot of wisdom, and that wisdom allowed her to create structure. And with that structure, she had an organized household, and with an organized household, she could have balance inside of the house and outside of the house. Many women who are single, who are even married, would say, well, I got no help. And I get that. I do get that. But understand that you serve self best when you serve self first. And if you serve self first, then you can pour again from a half full glass. At the same time, if I serve myself well, then I can put requirements on others to serve me well too. Many times we don't serve ourselves well, and then we want everybody else to, pick up the slack, so on and so forth. That is not a good practice. I used to engage with a gentleman who would always tell me that you teach people how to treat you. And in that, he meant to say, not only do we give people cues, what works for me, what doesn't work for me, what I like, what I don't like, but we also show people how to treat us in the way that we treat ourselves. If I don't, tolerate, let's say, certain things from myself, why in the world would I tolerate it from you? Okay, and that doesn't mean just our interpersonals. That means how people do themselves on their own life. If I don't tolerate that from me, why would I engage with people who tolerate that from themselves? I don't like parents who curse out their children. I don't have children, but you don't see me cursing either, right? Even in the times where I do, it would be which is just, like, it would be in times where it's a just a reflection of the context, not to make it right, wrong, or better than or worse than someone else, but it would be something where I'm not, or any of us should be cursing at another individual, right? And so just think about that, and cursing is just one element of life. There's all types of things. There's habits that we have or decisions that we're making that are just not reflections of good quality character, right? And I'm not asking everybody to be the best. I'm not asking everybody to be perfect. I'm not asking everybody to be Christian. I'm not asking everybody to be a life coach, but I am saying be careful of how you do what you do, because then when others do it to you, you should not be looking confused. It's like if you allowed that to happen because that's what you did for yourself or to yourself, then when others do it, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, okay? So keeping these things in mind, I just want us to be mindful that there are so many different elements of self-care, and if these self-care elements are not impacting us at our core, then we are greatly lacking. Now I'm going to transition to some more examples of what self-care could look like. Of course, I alluded to all of the women's aesthetics services that we get on a regular basis, whatever they may be. That it could be you doing it for yourself or having someone else do it. I saw these eyebrows recently. They look like plastic. I don't know what's going on. It looks like Barbie doll, but that could work for you. You hear me? Doesn't work for me. That could work for you. And if it does, keep it up. Here are some simple things, and these are things that some of us have in our houses. We even buy for others things that we don't take advantage of ourselves. All right, simple things. Everybody needs some of these. These things probably came from a dollar store. I'm sure they did. $5, 2 pair. Get you 5 pair. Okay. Always have yourself some comfy socks. You always need some of these, right? Get these for Christmas. You buy them for people. You can get the kinds with the little texture on the bottom so you don't slide across the floor. Self-care, really simple, but this is taking care of yourself. Also making sure that you take care of your feet, not just in the pedicure bowl, but making sure that you get foot massages or you conduct foot massages, right? If I massage my own feet, then I should not be surprised when some beautiful, handsome gentleman comes in and starts massaging my feet. Why? Because I did it for myself. Why wouldn't he? All right, here's some other things. Incense. I got this from Auntie Peaches. This stuff smells heavenly. You hear me? I don't use it, so I have like a billion of them. All right. I don't use incense because it messes with my allergies, but this smells good. You don't even have to burn this stuff. It smells amazing. So I don't use it. This is something that I give as gifts. I usually send it to Atlanta to my cousin because she uses it. So I bought a bunch of it so I can have a stash to be able to send to her randomly. But incense is a good way to kind of just get your peace, to slow down with yourself. Sit outside, burn you some incense, burn it in the house, wherever you want to burn your incense. That's your business. I'm not judging, but that's a way to do some self-care. There's so many different aromatherapy inventions, let's just call it that. I have a humidifier and they cost like $10 on Amazon. You can get a 2-pack for $15. Get one for yourself, give one to a friend, get one for your front of the house, put one in the back of your house. That's your business. But here are some oils that I get from the little place in the Potter's House in Jacksonville, if you're familiar. Okay, you get these oils. This one is mango butter. This is their top seller. I cannot show you the name of this one, but it's purple. I like it. Okay, so I put this in my humidifier, a couple drops, little dab will do you, and I just put that in my humidifier and it burns basically, or not burns, it is humidifying all day. Okay, water, the best self-care ever. Okay, we as women have to not only do our physical health, like the outside health, but the inside health too. I got vitamins, one a days. These are all good ways to make sure you're taking care of yourself from the outside in. And the last thing I have up here that I wanted to share with you, this is not self-promotion, but a planner, right? So one aspect of self-care is making sure that our life is something that we have control over. And most of us don't have control over our life. And so we allow people to pull us in a thousand, a million, dozens of different directions, and we really are not as productive as we otherwise could be. So keeping this in mind, I want you to do a good job of just planning your day out a little bit better, not allowing others to take advantage of you in ways that cause you to lose track of your day, making sure that you don't lose focus simply because a person called you, and when that person called you, you kind of got distracted. I don't know what happened, but I'm just getting blurry for some reason. I think it's trying to focus on my curls, and it's a billion of them, so it's not working. But anyway, I just designed a different type of planner, and this one allows you to keep track of every hour time block of the day. And it doesn't break it up in 30-minute chunks, but it does every hour from, I think, 8 a.m. It goes down to 6. Hey, that's pretty cool. Okay, so it does break it down to 30 minutes. So it's from 8 to 6:30 to 7 o'clock. And so with something like this, it just helps you to become more productive in your life, okay? And so that is, again, self-care secrets. I could do better at self-care. I really could. And that just means making sure that I take time to enjoy the small things. Again, persons like me may be pulled in 1,000 different directions. And I'm not even talking about others pulling me in 1,000 different directions. I'm just talking about myself, you know. But sometimes I could do a better job of just slowing down. You know, I cannot be as productive as I would like to be if I don't take time in between each appointment or each project, whatever it may be. So for you, I just want you to find ways that you can enjoy spending time with yourself and make sure you balance that out. So let's say, for example, ice cream. You know, I believe in the small joys of life. Ice cream, fresh cookies, Mrs. Smith's Dutch apple pie, amazing, right? Or you have like some people, you love Chick-fil-A, you know, whatever it is, just make sure that make sure that you do not indulge in something too much, okay? So some of our self-care things could be like a snack or candies or something, and I am not against those things if they make you happy, because if they make you happy, I'd rather you have that occasionally than to deny yourself and be absolutely depressed. So again, you have to balance this out. There are people who are on diets absolutely depressed. You know, is that really working to your benefit? It could be helping you physically, but is it helping you literally? Okay, in that moment. Okay, I am absolutely not opposed to health changes. I need us to have more health changes, but just make sure you balance it out. If you're going to be dieting, then make sure you feed yourself on another aspect of life. If you can't feed yourself the snacks and the chips and cookies that you want, then make sure that you do something else that helps to fill that gap, that void. Okay, I of course want you to lose weight. I of course want you to be happy. I want you to be healthy, but I want you to do that in ways that speak to your soul as well as your body and your mind. All right, so I just wanted to talk about that. Hopefully it's in enough detail where you can understand some ideas that you may be able to add to your own patterns, and also being able to share these things with other people. Each of us has folks around us, especially women, who could use a tip or two, or who could use a babysitter or two, someone who could help them slow down. And it's not just good enough that we help ourselves if we're not willing to help the women around us, because guess what? If I get my zen, I get my space, I get my self-care on fleek, and then I'm around people who don't take care of themselves, then, you know, did I really serve myself well if my environment never changed? Okay, so just think about these things. Make sure you do whatever it takes to keep yourself both happy as well as healthy, and make sure you take time with yourself. All right, so that is Coach D signing off today. I hope this has been enlightening and very helpful for you. If you find that it's been valuable conversation, please share it, please post it, tag a friend or two. Make sure you help someone today. All right, happy Sunday. I hope you have a wonderful week. I will talk to you